Welcome to Realm Painters, and welcome to the final part of the, whatever the name of this spearhead is. I can't remember off the top of my head. The reason that this is the final part is because the last guy is the character, or the last part of the spearhead is the character, and really and truly he's just kind of a glorified version of the balloon guys, and I have other things that I want to paint this year aside from copper. So much unbelievable amounts of copper. If you're interested in the other Kharadron Overlords Spearhead tutorial videos, I'll have them popping up somewhere around here, and or you'll be linked in this playlist. One thing that you should know before you get into this tutorial is you're going to be painting copper, and a lot of it, specifically the big balloon and the little balloon. For some reason, copper is one of my least favorite colors to paint, because it requires so much extra layers in order for it to come out smooth and proper. So I'm just going to give you guys a heads up beforehand that this is going to be a tutorial that is going to take you a little while. It took me almost a week to get this fully painted, and that is with, working full time and all of that. So just keep that in mind. But with that being said, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into this. Alrighty, we are going to do a sub-assembly to make painting the boat way easier by keeping the upper balloon off and priming both with Chaos Black Primer. We are going to start with the boat, and starting off with the Baraknar Burgandy sections, being the front of the hull, the back fin, the bottom fin, After that, with heavily watered down Nuln Oil, we are going to wash the lower sections of the hull and the fins to give it a nice shadow effect. After that, edge highlight this section with Screemar Pink. Up next, let's take care of the black sections by base coating the underside of the edge of the boat with Abbadon Black and edge highlight with Eshin Grey. Moving on to the lighter sections, I recommend starting with a base coat of Baraknar Frlesh in the inner line of the hull, one of the bombs on each side, and the wings on the fins. The reason I recommend doing this is to make it easier to paint the actual light color. After that, for the actual bright color, use Ushabti Bone. I recommend taking your time with this step and thinning your paints, and building up the color over a few layers in order to get a nice, smooth line. After mixing Lamian medium and Seraphim sepia, wash over the tan sections to shadow these sections. I recommend having a second brush ready to absorb any pooling. Lastly, for these sections, edge highlight with Wraith Bone. Onto the metallics. Let's take care of the base coats first, starting with Leadbelcher. Base coat the anvil, the joint on the tail fin, the head of the drill bomb, and the body of the first bomb. Then with Hashut Copper, base coat the tail fin bracings, the bomb harnesses, and the head of most of the other bombs. Then base coat the anvil accessories. Lastly, for base coats, base coat the figurehead with Retibutor Gold. Then wash the Hashut and Gold sections with Rekiland Fleshshade and Leadbelcher in Nuln Oil. Lastly, for the metallics, edge highlight the gold with Liberator Gold. Highlight the Leadbelcher and Copper in Runefang Steel. And finally, for the little final touches on the hull, we'll base coat one of the bombs in Castellen Green and wash it with Nuln Oil. Then, if you're feeling up for it, with Abbadon Black, you can freehand runic symbols for the name of the ship. And if you're really wanting to do it, you can use Ironbreaker to base coat the studs on the ship. I am not doing that because I'm not insane, but, to each their own. Alright, onto the upper deck of the ship, where we will start with Abbadon Black to base coat the gunner's side of the ship. The reason we do this is to make it easier to clean up the black sections if we do any mess ups. Then edge highlight the black sections with Eshin Grey. Following that, base coat the captain's side of the ship and the mini balloon holster and the undercoat of the gunner and captain with Baraknar Burgandy. Then wash the burgundy in Nuln Oil and highlight with Screemar pink. Onto our first of several metallics for this section, with Leadbelcher base coat the armor of the captain and the gunner, as well as the cannonballs, the captain's gun, the deck on the captain's side, and the balloon conductor, as well as the handle and the gauges on the gunner's side. After that, with Hashut Copper, base coat the gunner's head minus the beard, both the captain's hats and his backpack, as well as the rear balloon, the filigree on the cannon, and the gauges on the captain's side, the wheel, and the handle of the gunner's pulley. After that, with Retibutor Gold, base coat the symbols throughout the ship's deck. Next, base coat the rack holding the balls with Rune Lord Brass. Then wash the gold and copper with Rekiland Fleshshade and the Leadbelcher and brass in Nuln Oil. And the metallics for this section are done. Moving on to the accessories, starting with the gloves and harnesses of the captain and gunner, where we will base coat with Rakarth Frlesh and wash with Seraphim sepia. And then on the orbs on the balloons and the portholes, base coat them with Templeguard blue. Then mix Templeguard blue and white, I used Vallejo white, and paint the center of the orbs. And lastly, with pure white, you can do a tiny spot in the center of the orbs. Then using the colors, you can go back and forth between them in order to make the transition nice and smooth. But with that, you have now finished the boat section. Onto the balloon. Alrighty, nearly done, sorta. Let's take care of the balloon by base coating the fins, upper sections of the connectors, and the underside of the balloon with Baraknar Burgandy. Wash the burgundy with Nuln Oil and highlight with Screemar pink. I feel like I've said that before. Up next, for the tan section, where we will base coat the lower sections, the fins, and the fan blades. Like the hull, we will base coat it in Baraknar Frlesh before applying a few layers of Ushabti Bone. Then with Seraphim sepia, wash these sections. Allow the Seraphim sepia to pool slightly, unlike the boat, in the areas of the blades towards the center of the fan, and the connectors towards the burgundy areas. Lastly, edge highlight the tan sections with Wraith Bone. Onto the metallics, where we will start with the main color being Hashut Copper, and get ready to spend the next 7 hours painting this color. By base coating the upper section of the balloons, the lower section of the rear of the balloon, the hatch on the bottom of the balloon, and the tips of the fan. Then with Leadbelcher, base coat the grate sections on the balloon, the exhaust on the top of the balloon, as well as the exposed wires, the round port on top, and all other details you wish to be steel. Up next, base coat the symbols throughout the balloon with Retibutor Gold. After that, base coat the orbs on the very top of this balloon with Screaming Bell, and then wash the copper and gold sections with Rekiland Fleshshade. Then wash the Leadbelcher with Nuln Oil. And highlight the copper and Leadbelcher sections with Runefang Steel. Lastly, for the metallics, highlight the gold with Liberator Gold. And it's on to the windows, I think. These steps are going to be the exact same as the previous blue orbs on the smaller balloon, but, you know, bigger. So start with Templeguard Blue. Then mix Templeguard Blue and White and paint on the center of the orbs. And lastly, with Vallejo White, do a dot on the orbs, and then using those colors, go back and forth between them to smoothen out the transition. This will take a little bit of time and some practice, but I think if you can get it done right, it looks really good. But once you finish that and you glue the bits together, your boat is now complete. And with that, you can now paint the small boat. I should have looked up what this thing was called before doing the intro and outro of this video, but you know, that's okay. We'll run with it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. I had a lot of fun painting this thing. That's not entirely true. I had a lot of fun painting everything except for the copper. The copper gave me an aneurysm a little bit. That being said, that is the only bad part about this whole army. I think for future parts of my army, I might try and do a silver instead of copper, and then like the blue ones, the blue version of this. I don't know much about the lore of these guys yet. I'm still learning it. If you're interested in other spearheads and you want to know how to paint them, leave a comment down below. We'll get to them. Next week's video is going to be how to paint Blood Angels, since the 11th edition launch box is coming out. Might as well show you guys how to paint Blood Angels. But with that, I think I am going to leave that here, and I'll catch you guys in the next round. See ya.